Go. Hey. All right, we are ready to go again. Latest session of Red Skies, Children and Friends edition. Not that I actually ever show the other ones, but last time you guys were on the ship, and it started heading towards the somewhere to the southeast. You're not sure exactly where you're at. No one's taken the time to actually try to figure that out yet. However, you started learning the lay of the land of the Defiant. After first speaking with the captain, who then keel-hauled Barsk to make an example out of him, you guys settled into sort of a routine that first day of kind of learning your new jobs, which were similar to some of the jobs you did for the Maiden's Folly when you were trying to help them out a little bit. But in this case, under a more watchful eye, there's definitely a lot more people on the ship than there were on the Maiden's Folly. That night, everything seemed to go okay. Kind of watched with one eye open. But then the next morning, the group that sort of had, captured you is the wrong word, but had taken your surrender on the island, tried to prevent you from going upstairs. And in doing so, made you late, or at least most of you late, not quite all of you, to the deck. And so for that, you each got 2 lashings. And when Dresd'a basically tried to rebel against that, she got 4. And again, you kind of did your next day of kind of work on the ship, leading into the night. We kind of ended with you kind of going to bed. However, we're going to pick it back up just before going to bed. As you guys were getting, after dinner was served, you saw the squall that was mentioned earlier that last session slowly catching up onto the ship. And not soon after you finished taking your dinner and getting your rum and all that sort of stuff, this squall, it's not really a heavy storm, but a squall hit the ship, blanketing the area with rain and somewhat heavy rain, the waves kind of pitching up a bit. Everybody who is not name's Rhux, should give me a Constitution saving throw. Hylough and Marcus, you guys can have advantage.
Roll mine for me. My BT2 is still not working.
Okay.
And the advantage was helpful. Thank
you. Where are you? There you are.
Oops. Wow.
Constitution.
Sick.
Okay, so let's see here. We have Marcus, you're fine. Dresd'a, you feel a little sick. You feel sick to your stomach. Aaron, you're fine. Iylis is fine. Hylough, you're feeling a bit sick to your stomach, even with the advantage. And Praedyth, you're actually feeling okay. The combination of the waves and the movement of the ship and the rum you just had and all that is just not sitting well with Hylough and Dresd'a. You're considered sickened, so your ability checks are just a little are a disadvantage for the next hour. But what do you guys want to do? You've partaken of your dinner. If I remember correctly, one of the guys propositioned Dresd'a to potentially do some gambling, although you weren't feeling very well at the time. Anything in particular you want to do before going to sleep?
I want to go down before dinner and make sure the knife is hidden.
That you did mention last time, so you've already done that.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep. Anybody want to do anything else on the ship, or are you guys kind of pretty much?
I want to get some good spots to not necessarily hide things. What kind of hide things? What's the word? Set up distractions, I guess. I don't know. I can't really think of the word I'm trying to.
I mean, the ship is got lots of like this isn't like the Maiden's Folly where there was a lot of open deck space and things like that. There's a lot of stuff going on in this ship. So you got piles of rope here and there. You've got the rigging. You've got the crow's nest. You've got a whole bunch of things on the downstairs. If you looked at the various, actually, I don't know why I didn't do this before, but if you look into the various things, we'll make it so that you can actually look at the. At this point in time, you should be able to start looking at the various levels of the ship at this point in time because you guys you've been on a couple days now, so I'm trying to configure it so you guys can see it. So you can always just pop to another one if you want. I don't know though if you'll be able to just like if you go to mid deck. Yeah, Iylis has been there, so it does kind of show that.
Yeah, the only one I can't see is the main deck.
Because I didn't make it available because you don't have a token in it. So if you want to go there, you'll have to put a token on it as well.
Cool.
Just because that one is it's basically the same as this upper deck. It's just that it didn't you can't see certain parts of it.
Oh, that's fine. I just didn't know if that was intentional.
Yeah, it is intentional. All right, so there's lots of places you could potentially do some stuff with that there, Aaron, but you're not 100% sure if somebody would find it or not. Like you'd have to hide it pretty well in a few places. Anybody doing anything else?
I would also like to spend the time waiting for the navigator to come look at the stars and kind of learning things about the ship at night.
Well, he's probably not going to come right now because there's a storm going on.
Dinner time. Oh, that's true.
Not a lot of stars to see, no sextant kind of stuff to do at this point, but you have seen a guy come up every so often over the last couple of days to the wheel, and who's ever working the wheel, he'll say a few things, he'll talk with him for a little bit. Usually what'll happen is he'll make some gestures and the ship will speed up for a little bit, for like about an hour, and then it'll settle back down to the normal, what seems to be the normal pace that you've been expecting. Sometimes it seems like the wind picks up there. Sometimes it just seems like the water itself just moves faster when he does these things. And then he'll head back, usually heads back into the front of the ship here. When you guys head down the stairs, usually in the evening, there are some of the officers are in here. They have bunks and stuff in here. So, but over the last couple of days, you have not seen Mad Dog. He's pretty much been in his quarters the whole time. Ship seems to be run most of the time from Red. Anything else anybody wants to do?
Make sure the half orc gets less portion.
You try that, it doesn't work out very well. I mean, you want to do a deception check? You can try it with a deception check.
All right. I shall try it with a deception check.
All right.
That was pretty good.
Let's see his passive insight. You seem to get away with it this evening.
I only wanted to do it this evening anyways.
Yeah, you seem to get away with it this evening.
Oh, they were a bit skippy on their sauce today.
He doesn't say anything. He's mute.
Yeah, what's he gonna do?
Thinking.
Talk?
I might beat you to a pulp, but
I mean, that's a possibility.
but you never know. All right. So, anybody gonna do anything else? Otherwise, you guys head down to your bunks, put up your hammocks, and start spending your evening. Initially, a few people down here in the lower deck. If we activate that, as you set up your bunks and stuff. Wow, what the heck is that? Is there still an encounter going? That's weird. It's definitely broken there. I might have to turn off the turn marker. In fact, I'm going to do that. 1 second, since this is just the turn marker seems to be not set up correctly for the current. All right, everybody's going to get a quick reload.
I'm being refreshed.
Yeah, which also still didn't clear it out. So that's awesome. Love that. All right. Wow. That seems to be kind of broken. All right. So you guys settle into your bunks and pass away the time. Anybody going to do any watches again this evening?
Probably
it'd
the
be
same
worth it.
ones. Yeah, I mean, at least in the morning, just to see if they get up and try to bully us again.
Well,
early
I want
and
to
try
get up,
bully us.
get up early, and get up on deck early so that they can't.
There you
I
go.
want to, beat them like
Also a
everybody else.
possibility.
Yeah, I'll do first watch.
Okay. All right. So you guys
1 second.
settle in and start your watches. Who's wants? So we've got Marcus on first watch. Anybody else with him?
Me.
I'll be. Oh, okay.
All right. So Marcus and Aaron take some time on first watch. You guys settle in. Some people seem to take a little bit longer before they fully settle in, but by about an hour and a half into your watch, most everybody has fallen asleep. There are a few places that are empty. You notice that at least two of the people who normally are right in here, Mers and Khan, might be doing night duty tonight because they're definitely not in the thing. The two people who are up here, which are the two assistants, one to the gunner and one to the bosun, those two are definitely there, and then most of the rest of the people are in. And at this point in time, you've already learned that at night there's about maybe a third of the crew, a third of the number of normal daytime crew members are running the ship. And just so far, you haven't been asked to do the night duty yet. And after that, pretty much all the people down here kind of settle in, fall asleep. The rip-roaring snoring of the half-orc start to, thunder through the actual thing.
As we fall asleep, I'm gonna kind of do a tale, like a ghost tale of, with the storm and ominous, and I'd heard what happened at this one ship. Kind of just trying to do the whole bard thing.
Okay, that's fine. You tell a tale.
Okay.
Some people seem interested in it. That girl who had introduced herself as True, she definitely listens to it and kind of raptly. The gambling guy, the kind of nice looking guy, rigging guy who came down and asked Dresd'a if she wanted to play cards and stuff with them. He looks up every now and then from the card game that's going on in the corner that happens for the first hour of your watch. Seems kind of interested. And then there's a gnome. You haven't necessarily caught her name yet, but let me second. New tab. Holy cow! How hard is it to find this? But actually, you have met her before. The gnome, the Blinby Zizzleton. She had talked to you guys the first day and seemed quite put off by you guys, but she actually eventually kind of comes over and listens to this as well. And a couple other people you kind of notice every so often kind of listening, but for the most part, they're mostly ignoring. First watch goes without a problem. Who's on second?
I'll be on second.
Okay, we have Iylis and Hylough. About, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through your watch, you guys notice that the kind of the waves on the ship motion has kind of settled a bit. Like it slowly over the course of your first third of the watch slowly starts to settle down. You can notice the sway of the hammock start to become less and less. So clearly maybe the storm is letting up there. Other than that, most everybody is sleeping during your watch. The only thing that you really notice that's any different is that Praedyth starts to toss and turn in his hammock. And Praedyth, here's the reason why you start tossing and turning in your hammock. The blackness of the void surrounds you as you come to consciousness. Blackness in all directions. Yet you can still see yourself. After an unknown amount of time, you hear the giggle of a small girl, which changes to the cackle of an old woman as the echo fades away. More time passes, and then you hear a very faint, "My chosen." You hear nothing for a long time and begin to wonder if maybe what you heard was a figment of your imagination, a yearning to hear the sound of fate. Then you hear it again. "My chosen." As it fades away this time, you hear the faint rustle of what sounds like a cloak billowing in the wind. A third time. "My chosen." As it fades, you blink, and suddenly you're flying over the top of the Defiant. The darkness of the night makes it hard to see the deck, but you can see people on it going about their business. You circle around it 3 times, and then head off away from the ship in the opposite direction from which it's going, faster than you've ever seen the Raven fly. The exhilaration of the speed and the flight thrills your old bones, and your heart quickens apace. You fly over the sea for what seems like hours before coming upon a large island. Flying straight towards it, you notice the large town on an idyllic bay with a small fortress sitting on the cliffs overlooking both the town and the sea. Flying past the town, you fly into the countryside, which is dotted with small groups of buildings and large fields of what you think are sugar and coffee. You continue to fly inland over a ridge of mountains until reaching over and down a ridge of mountains until reaching a series of buildings and fields that lie along a small river, which flows towards the glittering sea on the horizon. Swooping down, the Raven skims the river until it enters a small forest, where it slows and where the river slows and spreads out, making a swamp. The Raven dodges amongst the trees until you notice a set of overgrown rock walls and mounds of fallen stone bricks. It flies up through the trees and then circles once, twice, 3 times. You can see the river enter the swamp, which you now realize is a delta on the island leading into the sea. The river flows from a small set of mountains, and a set of fields lines each side until it reaches the swamp. The Raven darts back down into the forest before landing on one of the piles of stone. It hops from one stone to the next, finally stopping after a few moments. Looking down, you see a faint marking. 3 interlocking circles. The voice of 3 speaks as one. "Search for the temple, and your faith will be tested." You awake with a start and find yourself gently swaying in your hammock, the buzzsaw of snoring coming from the mute half-orc to the back of the chamber.
Nice.
So yeah, Praedyth, you wake up. You guys are kind of looking around. You notice Praedyth has been tossing and turning, and then suddenly kind of wakes up and kind of looks about. Otherwise, nothing else seems to happen. Third.
Hey, you
watch.
okay? I'll ask him.
No, go ahead.
If he's okay. I'll ask him if he's okay.
Are you gonna wake me up? Because I'm asleep.
No, you're awake. I told you.
I'm
woke up.
awake now.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut out that last part.
You awake with a start and find yourself gently swaying in your hammock.
Cool. Well, yeah, I should be all good. I just know where I'm headed. And I'll go back to sleep.
Okay. The rest of the watch goes without problems.
That seems ominous.
Who's on third watch? No one?
Absolutely no one.
All
I'll take third watch.
Since you're up.
Yeah, since I probably didn't fall all the way back.
All right.
I'll do third watch.
All right.
I guess by myself. I'm a raven.
That said, she'll be on third watch too.
Okay. All right. So you guys continue to watch. Everybody else kind of settles down and falls asleep. About halfway through your watch, all of these guys over here get up and start heading towards the deck. You know, they kind of work their way through the things and then head up the stairs towards what you assume is the main deck. Praedyth.
At our call time too. Should we be getting everybody up?
You haven't heard a bell. These 2 guys over here are still sleeping. The rest of the sailors in here are still sleeping.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember who was on watch the previous day at this time. So Unfortunately, I can't say if it was the same. Like, you guys know from the last time that from yesterday, from whoever was watching, that these guys did get up earlier than the bell and did go up earlier the last time.
Okay. Sounds good.
You guys can take your long rest, however. You can get your long rest in, so make sure you do that, because you have made it through that at this point. And I would like you all to put yourselves where you would normally be sleeping as well, just so you're there, just in case. And I really, really wish markers were sitting down here.
So for some reason, I can't get down a level. I'm still on the middle deck.
You just got to click on the lower deck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not showing myself up there.
Oh, you are now, because I just pulled you to it.
But
So-
like his character's not there.
Yeah, my character's not there. I get that. My
Oh no,
character
your
is on
character's here.
mid-deck.
It's just hidden.
Hidden.
Okay.
Yeah, because last time you went up, remember when we did the fight here, you went up the
He's in the
stairs.
water.
You went up the stairs, so I hid your character,
Okay.
so you'd still be able to see.
I'm in that one. I can't get in this bunk. I'm in
Yeah, you
between the
can't.
bunks.
The
laying on
bunks
the
are
floor.
right on the edges. I know.
How dare you?
Dresd'a, where are you?
So since I'm keeping watch, would I have been in my bunk?
I would assume you're in a bunk. It
Okay.
would
You're
probably
kinda
be a
laying
little
there.
odd if you were walking around in the deck while you were doing that. But it is entirely up to you. You can get up if you want. I mean, I'm not saying you have to be in your bunk. I'm just saying it seemed odd. So. All right. So yeah, you figure that they get up and head out maybe about. It's hard to say exactly because there's no portholes or anything down here, but maybe an hour before the bell is supposed to ring. It's hard to say. Are you guys that are on watch doing anything?
I'm not doing anything. No.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of nudge the guy that's with me and say, "You think we should go check that out?"
So you nudge Praedyth or you nudge Hylough?
Hello.
Well,
I
Hylough's
was
sleeping,
asleep.
so you wake him up.
Praedyth's the other one on watch.
You can wake me up if you want,
Yeah,
I guess.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying if that's what she's doing. That's
Well,
all
yeah,
I
we
need
can
to
go
know.
check it out. I don't care. Yeah, let's go see what's going on. Stick our nose where it doesn't belong. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing? Like you get nudged to wake Hylough, and Dresd'a asks
I'm gonna
if you
tell him that I saw those guys go up.
Well, I don't want to get stuck down here when the bell goes off. And
Yeah, you think we should go follow him?
yeah, let's go see what's going on.
Start waking everybody up?
Let's just the two of us go up there and see what's going on.
All right.
Okay. You guys head up the deck, head up to the next level. If you just look at the next level, getting up there, you can see that it's, there's the pigs. There's a couple pigs running around on the second level, but
They
you
do
don't
be
see
skittering.
anybody else.
They
Currently.
sleep.
Well, I mean, they probably do, but right now they're running around. Mostly it's piglets that are running around. And it occurs to me I didn't configure the upper deck to allow you to see it whenever you wanted to. But you don't see any of those guys on this deck currently. Continuing up, you come up to the next level of the you come up to the upper deck, or the main deck, I should say. And in the main deck, you come out through and you see the what sort of looking for the officers. A couple of them are up. Most of them are still in their hammocks, but you're able to get past them to the door out onto the main deck. And looking out on the main deck, you can see that those guys are out there and they're talking with scabs. If you're trying to not be seen, give me a stealth roll. If you don't care if you're seen or not, don't worry about it. Then you don't need to do one.
Stealth.
Stealth roll. you kind of, I mean, you guys are kind of looking out the door. It's hard to not be being seen by the two officers that are kind of sitting up here in the thing, but you're pretty sure that no one outside of the room is seeing you. Scab seems to be talking with them. It seems like right now he's kind of pointing out a couple things on the ship. And then he takes them up to the to the back of the poop deck. They talk for a little bit up there as well, and then they seem to go their separate ways, or at least the group of them start coming back towards the deck that you guys are, or the room that you guys are on in. What do you guys want to do?
Well, let's head. You want to head on down back? Get on back
Yeah, let's
downstairs.
go back.
All right. So you guys head back down the thing, back to the lower deck and the bunks.
Yes.
Okay. You get down there. 5 minutes later, no sign of those guys yet. 10 minutes later, no sign of them yet. You do hear a couple of footfalls above you. Kind of heavy footfalls, so maybe that's the half orc. You're not sure. But nobody comes down here. And then people start to wake up. So like some of the sailors start getting up, and you see a few of them take down their hammock and stow it, and then start heading up the stairs.
Yeah, wake everybody else up and let's get on
I'm
up
gonna
there.
go ahead and start heading toward the kitchen. Get my hammock.
Well, no. Your day starts by always going to the main deck,
Oh, that's true.
where you get your assignment for the day. It just so happens the last 2 days you've gotten cook's assignment.
True.
So you guys all head up to the main deck. It is now you're pretty sure it's the 16th of Sowing Tide, based on your stuff. And so you guys get up onto the main deck, upper deck, and all of you sailors come into line. Scabs kind of starts pulling out people out of the lines and giving them jobs for the day. Hylough, you get to be rigger today. Dresd'a, you're also a rigger today. Iylis, you become a swab today. Yay, lucky you.
Lame.
Iylis, you're a swab. Aaron, you're a swab. Marcus, you are also a swab. And Praedyth, he's sending you to the cook today.
Very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope you can cook.
All right, so
Anyone
you guys
can cook.
head off to your jobs. We just lost Brian again. You guys head off to your various jobs and start doing your stuff. Anybody trying to do anything else beyond their job for the day?
I would like to sneakily kind of get items that one would maybe use to make some traps or something like that.
So you're going to try to steal some rope? Because that's about all there is that's
sure,
really
I guess.
available. All right.
Except little tripwires,
Give
make them
me
float
a
and-
sleight of hand check.
Oh boy. Roll high, roll high. Dang it, man.
You try to take some of the rope a couple of times, but somebody always seems to be watching you and saying, "What are you doing, man?"
I'm moving it so I can clean under it.
Yeah, and it's fine. But you're unable to actually get any without. You're unable to put some in your cloak or anything like that to try to take away with you. Unfortunately. Anybody else
I
doing
tried.
anything?
So I just want to generally be friendly and see where people are from, what ships they were on before. Just learn what I can and do the social thing type.
Most people ignore you, or
Yeah.
a couple of people tell you to shut the hell up, mind
Fair
your own
enough.
business. Once you're trying to talk to one of the guys, you think his name is, I think it's a he. 1 second. Yeah, you think his name is Arl. but he seems to just like turn his back on you. You try again, and he literally turns on you and says, "Leave me the hell alone. I don't want to talk to you. Don't want to talk to your friends. I don't even want to talk to the captain. Leave me alone." And he goes back to his business.
There's a tail there.
Wooed.
He goes back to doing his stuff. At a certain point, though, during that your attempt to talk to this, and that woman shows up again. Remember, True. You learn from her that again, she's a priestess of Ascetics, or at least that's what she claims. She's a devout follower of Ascetics. She says this is her. When you ask her, she's like, this is her first ship that she's been on. Most of the time she's just worked on docks. However, she was on one of the sets of docks in a small port city on the Gallenveer Quays. She was basically press ganged by these guys, and into service. And since she's been working with them for the last few, like about a month or so, she's been feeling like this is her calling. Like she needs to be on a ship. She should be, this is where she should be. And so while she's not happy with the treatment she's been getting from Scabs and some of the other guys and things like that, she is happy to be out on the open sea. So she's, she seems to be taking the pluses with the minuses in here. One other thing you do notice while you're talking with her, though, in this case, is that she seems to have a dagger at her side, which seems kind of odd. Like for someone who's press ganged in and things like that, you would think, why would she have a dagger at her side? And you also notice that she clearly has the holy symbol of Ascetics around her neck. Like there's a holy symbol around her neck on a necklace. So she certainly has some of her personal effects.
So is Ascetics, could the dagger be considered a religious icon, or do I know enough about Ascetics?
No. Ascetics is the goddess of storm and strife. The dagger's not going to be a religious icon. It's just
okay.
Thing.
I won't mention it, but I will take a note of it. I will kind of ask, like, what do you like the most? I'm kind of getting used to it too. Much better than being stuck on an island where you had to eat, you had to try not to get eaten, at least so far in the ship.
She's like, just the freeness of the ocean, the wildness of it. Even last night's storm was exhilarating. It's a great place to be. I mean, Scabs keeps on hitting on me, the little creep, but I don't really care that much. I mean, I'll just keep rebuffing him or leading him along. I haven't decided which yet. But they definitely seem to have taken an evil shine on you guys. What did you guys do to them?
I'm honestly not sure, but
I don't know what they did.
I mean, we came along willingly, so maybe that's part of the issue. They wanted to have a little more of a fight involved. So
they don't normally want to kill people just to get them on the ship. They would rather.
Oh, I mean, I didn't mean necessarily kill, just get the blood up a little bit.
Maybe, but that seems a little odd. I mean,
have they never had any trouble with anyone else?
Oh no. They have plenty of trouble. They're the resident mob squad, so to speak, or whatever you want to call them. They toady up to Scab all the time. And about that time, you hear a and you turn around and there's that dwarf. And he's like, we should be doing the work here now, not talking to each other. Get to work.
Is that the dwarf who told me you didn't want to talk to anybody?
No. The guy, that was a guy. This is one of the dwarves. This was the dwarf that was on the island, and the dwarf that kept you guys downstairs the other day.
Gotcha.
He kind of watches you guys for a bit as you kind of get back into work for a bit, and then he continues on. And then True says, Galt is so annoying. Because he's a longtime friend of Scabs, he thinks he doesn't have to do anything.
Seems like they've all kind of got the more choice. Yes, it is good.
You have seen them do work. They just don't do as much work as the rest of the people. So I will clarify that. Like,
right.
They have been doing things. It's just they don't.
How does he hold himself? Is he like a warrior or more like a mage?
Yeah, he kind of he's kind of got that whole kind of rolling gait of a sailor. He looks like he's been a sailor for quite a while.
Okay.
But he and actually he doesn't have any weapons that you can see on him as he goes by. Probably just trying to use the weight of the fact that scabs will whip you if you're not doing your job or something like that.
Okay. Well, I guess we should get back to it, but it's always good. Like I said, I'm learning a lot here.
No, it's all right.
Trying to stay out of trouble.
Actually, you don't have anything to trade, do you?
I don't.
True says that. Oh no, it's not for me. The quartermaster. He might be able to trade some things with you. Might be able to get some stuff from him.
Well, there's an idea. I don't know what we have to trade right now, but we can certainly look around.
Okay. Iylis, I need you to give me
Iylis,
I need you to give me an athletics or an acrobatics check.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Yeah.
I think I will take the acrobatics.
That's fine. Yeah, you kind of wilt under the heat of the day. It probably should have been Constitution, but I wanted to give you a chance with either of the two. I mean, am
I going to just dodge the sun?
No, totally.
Hold on.
No, I'm just trying to give you something that would be, strenuous. Like Constitution is here in this thing. You try your best and you do your job the best you can, but unfortunately, you just start to feel worse and worse as the day progresses. And the Hylough, at a certain point, you notice that Iylis looks really red, like beet red.
Oh. Hey, Iylis, can we maybe you should go to the infirmary.
Am I allowed to? Is there one?
There isn't an infirmary, but there is an actual doc medic on the ship, though. You can try to call him over if you want.
I'll call him over. I'll try to do that.
Right. So after a little bit, the word goes out that you guys are looking for the medic, as Iylis is trying to deal with basically what you think might be sunstroke or something like that. And out comes this kind of bear of a man. He's pretty big, but he's human. Well, at least you think he's human. He's sort of got a touch of gray to his skin, but he doesn't have tusks or anything like that. He still looks relatively human, but he's relatively tall and that sort of stuff. And he kind of comes over and starts checking you out, Iylis, and asks you certain questions like, "You feeling dizzy?"
Yeah.
All right. How many fingers am I holding up?
3 or 4.
Well, it's better than most of these guys. He kind of looks at you a little bit more and he says, "I think you're getting a little too much heat. Drink some water." And then he gets up and he heads away.
Okay.
But as he heads away and you look over you watch as he goes, you see a half-elf man heading from here, heading in this direction, and he has that staff of yours.
My staff?
The Urkasi staff. He has it.
Okay. Where's he going?
As you watch, he heads across the deck, heads up into here, and starts speaking with the helmsman. And then he gestures a few things, looks around, makes a few gestures, and the wind picks up a little bit, which actually helps you a little bit. You start to feel a little better with the wind picking up. And the ship kind of lurches a little bit and starts going a little bit faster.
He's definitely like a sorcerer or something.
You can give me an Arcana check to decide what if possible, anything he's if he was casting anything and what it might have been.
I know about that. I don't know about acrobatics.
Well, let me give you what it is in a second. I got a spell just to make sure of what I'm calling it or what is going on. I spelled it wrong. Here we go. It should be right. Here we go. So it's pretty clear based on what you watch. You think he's doing like a gust of wind of some sort, but it's a different one. Like some of the gestures and the way he seems to pull the magic from the air seems to imply sort of gust of wind, but gust of wind, like a minute goes by and the wind continues. And gust of wind should have probably been over by now based on your feel of how this magic and stuff works. So whatever he's doing, he's definitely increasing. He's doing something to make this last longer than normal.
Sustaining magic. Wonder if there's any way I can talk to him.
Well,
do I see where he goes when he leaves?
So he leaves. You continue working and doing stuff, and for over the course of the next hour, he kind of stays up on deck, kind of leaning on the staff a little bit, occasionally looking around.
It's not technically my staff. I kind of stole it, so I'm not like super mad, but
I know what you mean. And
I'm a little offended.
After about an hour, he says a couple more things to the helmsman, who makes a slight adjustment to the course, and then he heads down and back into this chamber in here, underneath the foredeck.
He lives over there.
And with that, we'll head to Praedyth. So Praedyth, you come in to the mid deck, and I'm gonna activate it so everybody can see it. Iylis, I'm gonna move you back over here, and I'm gonna move Praedyth in here. You come into the main kitchen and into the galley, and the galley is like, you're already pretty small, but coming in here, the galley is just a chicken almost runs you over as you open the door and kind of head in. You see cupboards that are just completely in disarray. Some of them with hinges falling off or the door slightly off and things like that. You see a place where clearly somebody was like prepares meat, except it looks just disgusting. Like there's hair on it, there's feathers on it, there's
didn't look that bad when I was there.
Meat on it. Oh, it's pretty bad. Most of the time he's been sleeping on it while you're there. So,
well, yeah.
And you, as you're kind of walking through there, you hear a somebody is snoring like crazy. And you kind of get around the mask that's here, and you see who it is. It's this guy sitting on a stool, kind of with his head on one of the counter kind of tops underneath some cupboards. He based on what you can see from on the stool, he looks maybe no more than 5 feet tall, maybe a little bit taller than that, maybe a little shorter, but he's kind of chunky. And he's definitely snoring up a thing. And as you get a little bit closer to you, the distinct smell of alcohol becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. What are you doing?
Hello there. He doesn't say no. He's still sleeping. So
You're sleeping.
Can I like take stock of what I got, figure out what I can make?
So there is, you can take stock. Give me a second. I will give you an answer. Looking around, there is a bunch of spices as you kind of look at them. There's some rainwater, so a barrel of water. You kind of get up on a stool and get up into the cupboards. There's some biscuits, ship biscuit in there. There's some salted beef. You find a barrel of sauerkraut. And at this point in time, there's a couple vegetables that, like a couple carrots and maybe a tomato, that are starting to look like they're kind of going the wrong way. That's kind of, and then there's also like a few chickens running around. In fact, You see a spot where you think maybe they laid some eggs, because you can see sort of a nest-like thing. So kind of going over there and looking through there. Yep, indeed, there's about 6 eggs in there. So yeah, there might be something you could make out of all this.
All right, yeah, I'll kind of just grab some stuff off, try and clean off the countertop as much as possible.
Sure. And start doing your work.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, you're kind of doing that when from this direction here, out of this door, comes a darker complexion man. He very swarthy, dark hair, about 5'8", something like that. Definitely taller than you. He kind of comes through that door, kind of looks disdainfully at the guy who's snoring and sleeping in the thing. Looks at you, kind of sniffs a little bit, and then heads over to this room right here and unlocks the door and heads into it. After a little bit, he comes back out, relocks the door, and then heads over to here. And he's carrying, basically at this point, he's carrying a small like footlocker kind of thing. And he heads out this door, and that's the last you see of him. You're not sure if he continues on up to the deck or where he goes, but that's the last you see of him.
Okay.
You continue to work away, and finally start getting something going when you hear you turn around to a crash as the guy seems to have leaned back and then fallen over on the chair. He's now climbed down on the floor, and he kind of looks at me and says, "Iylis, you've gotten shorter."
I most definitely have.
Wait, your
What
voice
happened?
is weird too. Did I drink something wrong and I'm big? Kind of looks around. Wait, no, the thing's all the same. Wait, you're not Iylis.
No, my name's
Neither one of
Praedyth.
you.
My name's Praedyth, and that's Praedyth Jr.
But you're twins.
Exactly.
He kind of shakes his head a little bit and says,
I
would
came
you
out
name-
first.
Why would you name the younger brother?
Because I came out first.
he kind of looks at you and says, "Wait, there's only one of you now." All right, so Praedyth, you say.
Now I have been reabsorbed.
Praedyth, you say.
Yes.
Okay, I guess you're the new cook's mate? Yeah, okay. What are you making?
Well, I took a couple of them eggs, and so the last of these little vegetables here, I'm just throwing in a little stew or something.
Okay, well, that's good. That'll work. Let's see. You know what time it is? And you kind of at this level there's a couple portholes. You can see, it's hard to say because you're looking out a porthole, but you'd say it's maybe midday, maybe a little past that.
I don't know, around noonish. Why?
Oh, well, the girl will be down in a couple hours. Well, no, 3 hours, something like that, to pick up the food. At least for the officers. Officers? The captain and his crew, his main crew, the guys
Okay.
he likes.
Sure.
Give it to her. She'll take it upstairs. Don't follow her. They'll kill you. Or at the very least, because of how small you are, they might have fun with you. Maybe use you as a kicking ball or something. It'd be interesting, but I don't want to see that. Tell the other guy who used to be here, I want him back. Not because I don't like you, but because he was a good conversationalist. And then he kind of passes out on the floor.
Well, you make it kind of hard to work with over there, but that's fine. And I'll get back to work.
All right, you get back to work. Anybody else doing anything the rest of the day?
So, how many people have personal belongings on the ship, like knives or?
So now that you've seen that sort of stuff and you start looking around, it seems like a lot of people do. Like, let me get back to my list of things. So, True has the holy symbol and a dagger. Linby, the gnome, she seems to definitely have several rings on. She seems to also have a short sword of some sort. or at least you think it might be a dagger given her size. It's just big enough that for her it would probably be a short sword. You see this other human girl who's kind of up in the rigging. She seems to have a necklace around her thing, and a few things like that. There's a halfling that you notice, a male halfling. He actually has a chain with like a gold amulet on. It's very remarkable. Like it looks like pure gold. It's got an interesting design in it. Design of 3 interlocking triangles, which is it's not something you've seen before, but it's an interesting design. It's very notable. Like you didn't realize until you start looking around that a lot of these guys have personal effects of some sort. And now that you think about it, you also remember that, like last night when Sabir, the gambler guy, had gone into his his locker, and that's where he had gotten the cards from. And kind of remembering back, you kind of saw a little bit in there. He had some other stuff in there too, like a leather jerkin and a few other things. So it certainly seems like these guys have a decent amount of things.
Do they seem to be the ones that are more comfortable on the ship, like the more older timers? Or
like, True has her stuff, and you search for her. She's only been on a month, so.
So we're being singled out possibly because the quartermaster.
You're not sure about that. You're not sure.
Okay.
I mean, you can ask around if you'd like.
Some good old fashioned.
I'll wait until I can. If I can get True again, I'll be like, so.
Yep.
Can we retrieve some of our belongings?
Oh.
How much of the belongings do we have, by the way?
I mean, you have your typical clothing. You don't really have your armor, unless your armor is something that was more like Aaron is missing his armor, but like you still have your leather coat. So it all depends on what it was. Like if it was very overtly armor, it was taken. It was that sort of stuff. Like Iylis might have like if he had a pouch with a bunch of just stuff for casting spells and things like that, he might still have that. But with the staff they took away. Hylough, they took his weapons. But and you guys still have like your backpack, so you'd have some of the stuff out of that backpack. But if it was anything that was of worth any amount of money, they probably would have taken it. Like all your rations were taken. Like they took all that. They're like, we're going to use this on for food on the ship. Things like that. Weapons definitely taken. So asking.
Do I still have my loot?
No, you don't have your loot. It did take that as well.
Of course they did.
Probably because it looks really nice and they thought it was worth money.
I'm assuming I don't have my crowbar because that could be a weapon.
Yeah, no. But asking True about that sort of stuff, she's like, did you see where they took them? They probably took them to the quartermaster.
And the quartermaster is our friend, right?
Which friend?
Hold on, I'll get his name.
Well, you've never met the quartermaster.
Okay, so we haven't actually met the quartermaster. We met.
No, you've never seen. In fact, only one character at this point has seen the quartermaster, and he's downstairs trying to make an omelet of some sort.
Okay.
Or a stew, I should say.
So we should. So I'll get everyone together and kind of towards dinner, let everyone know that apparently you can, trade things and buy things in the quartermaster to get our stuff back. I'm not sure if we have to trade it or what the deal is there, but we might be able to get some of the things back that we have. If you have anything that I doubt weapons, but maybe a dagger or something like that, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Just letting everyone know.
You understand. Yeah.
I also asked her, how many ships have they captured? Have they captured a ship while she's been here?
About 2 weeks back, we raided a ship. Did okay with that one, but while we were trying to finish it off or trying to get the stuff off of the ship, one of the Mergale Navy ships showed up. They kind of surprised us. We barely got away. That's why actually the crew complement is a little bit low right now. Normally there's another even with you 12. Remember, there was like other people that came with you. Even with you 12, we're about maybe 8 or so below normal complement.
Did they allow you to fight? I mean, I want to
Oh
prove
yeah,
myself.
no, they totally allowed me to fight. Yeah, we were boarders.
Okay, they issued you the weapons and things.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, my guess is at some point, I mean, scuttlebutt on the ship is that we're off to some meeting somewhere, but beyond that, I think after that we'll probably be after some more booty, I think is what they call it.
I've heard that before, yes. Booty, treasure.
So, just hold on. I'm sure we'll get to the point where we're attacking some ship.
You know, like you, it's only so many ways you can prove yourself here, so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. I get it.
And the captain, I think I've only seen the captain that once.
He doesn't come up very often. He's always poring over charts and stuff. Red pretty much runs the ship most of the time.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of, scuttlebutt about him that he's, he shows other pirates how to be. So it'll be interesting to be around him more. Thanks.
No problem.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, if there are any tales, I'm always interested to swap tales of my homeland, and I'm.
Most of these people pretty much tell you to shut up and do your work. I mean, I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to get something, but a lot of these guys just don't care.
Oh no, I'm in with her though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. You guys get kind of after that conversation. You kind of get pulled apart for a while. We'll come back to that. Praedyth, about mid-afternoon, 2 things happen. First, that same swarthy guy with a footlocker comes back in, goes into that same room, puts the locker in there, comes out. As he closes the door, he kind of sways a little bit. And I need to do something. And then just leaves, goes back out the main door. That's the first thing that happens. About 10 minutes after that, this girl comes down. This girl just suddenly appears at the door, and she kind of looks at you with a cocked head. She's basically about the same height as the guy who's passed out on the ground behind you, from the looks of it. But she's a slip of a girl. She's very thin, a waif, I think is what I described her last time. She kind of gives you a look with a cocked head, and she says, "They changed him again? Do you have the food ready?"
Yes, I do.
All right.
That's not the voice. Yes, I do.
All right. Well, okay. So she takes the tray. She kind of looks it over and smells it and says, "Yeah, I think the other guy was a little bit better than you." Oh well.
Wow.
She heads out the door, and you hear her start going and then you hear her start going up some stairs that are right.
Wait, hold on. You didn't even have him roll for survival on his food check.
No, that's true. Give me a survival roll there, Praedyth.
All right, I can do that. Let's do this.
You're totally correct.
Whammies.
I totally forgot to do that. It's a passable.
Hey,
it's
bad.
Passable food.
Not bad.
You would wish it was better, but it's passable.
Sometimes got to take what we can get.
Yep. So those are 2 things that happen. And then about an hour later, the cook who's passed out kind of wakes up again, and he says, and then he kind of looks around and says, and he starts getting up and starts, just getting a whole bunch of things together, putting hardtack on a plate, looking at your stew, kind of tastes it real quick, and he's like, passable. And then he kind of gets everything together and gives you some stuff, and he says, "Follow me, we got to get upstairs and feed the crew." And he starts heading up the stairs.
I'll grab some stuff and head up with him.
Okay. Dinner bell goes. Just as Praedyth and again, you guys have seen this guy. He's about 5 feet tall, built like a dwarf, but he's like a good foot taller than what a dwarf would be, but he's built like a dwarf. As he kind of stands there and starts passing out biscuits, and Praedyth starts spooning in some kind of stew for you guys as you kind of go through the line. At that point in time, Marcus, True actually kind of sits with you guys. So you guys have been kind of sitting together with Sand, Tuber, Rat, Lond, Perry, And Aislinn, although Blonde is helping Aislinn eat because, well, you remember Aislinn lost her part of her arm. She's still not looking a little not so great. You guys kind of all get together and are eating food, and True kind of joins you and says, "So you wanted to know about stories from back home, did you?"
Always. Stories of others' lives fascinate, the world. That's what you learn in the world. It's my path.
I grew up in Melisari. Now, for those of you who don't know, you would know, Melisari is one of the larger city-states of Solari. So if we head to our Sea of Tears map, the city-states of Solari, actually I need to go to the archipelago map. City-states of Solari are here on the Solari Isles, right here. And the largest of the city-states, Melisari, is on this bigger island right here, in one of these bays here. So if you kind of zoom in, it's kind of in this bay area. So the city-states of Solari are kind of originally they were settled by the Daeri, similar to like Caer Magale and all that sort of stuff. But they're sort of a melting pot of things. So there are Daeri, there's some Seerli that live there, there's half-elves, tieflings, that sort of stuff. It's kind of sort of a melting pot of things. But the city-states of Solari, each one individually is its own kind of governmental unit. But they kind of have a compact or a confederacy together that are kind of mutual defense compacts, trading compacts, and that sort of stuff. So that's where she is from. It's what she's basically pointing out.
Do we know which island we were on?
You don't.
On this map?
Nope. No one ever took the time to try to figure out via... You guys did pull a sextant, you just never took the time. You never told me that you were taking the time to figure out where you were.
And
you could probably make some guesses based on some of the. We'll talk about it in a bit. You might be able to make some guesses once you finally
Praedyth,
get to some actual land spot. Like you haven't been to any port or anything since you've been on the ship for the last couple of days. So once you get
no, it
to
wasn't
something,
Praedyth. It was Aaron. Aaron like scattered out the entire island.
Yeah, he scattered out the
Edge of the
island,
island.
but no one used the sextant or the charts that you guys picked up to try to figure out where you were.
Right.
So True goes into what life was like in Melisari. Relatively typical kind of discussion, which is, downtrodden or the downtrodden, the lords and ladies rule over them, lord everything over them. There's the typical kind of, tradesman class. You get the feeling based on the way she talks about where she grew up and things like that, that maybe she was not totally on the bottom rungs, but maybe more in that tradesman kind of level, and that she seems to have just gotten bored with it. And so she left there and started traveling south into the Sea of Tears to see more of the world and find if it was more interesting than where she lived. So you figure that there's something there that maybe is worth exploring at some point, but maybe not right now. Dinner ends. Scabs picks out Sand and Aislinn for night duty, and the rest of you are free to do whatever you want. What do you guys want to do?
I'm just gonna try to strike a quick conversation with some guys, and
I want to go over here and see if I can meet the Wiz.
You kind of go in and look in there. You can definitely see that there are officers. Actually, you go and look over in there. None of the officers are actually in there.
Okay, so he's not in there.
Yeah, he's not currently in there. Like at some point while you were getting ready to get dinner, you noticed that he and the rest of the main officers went into the main poop deck here.
Okay.
probably to have dinner with the captain.
Yeah.
So they are not
Gotcha.
currently in there, and they're still not done with dinner with the captain, or not sure where they're at this point.
I might wait until they come out, actually.
Mhm.
See if I can catch one. Catch him.
So the people that went into there, Red is in there.
Right.
The bosun is in there. Scabs is currently in there.
Yeah.
The half elf that we're talking about, and Alec, which you've heard is whose name is Rua. She seems to be the gunner, the master gunner. The medicine guy, the medic that attended to you went in there as well. At a certain point, you learned that he's named Gawain. The bosun, which is a halfling, or sorry, no, that's the bosun's mate. That's never mind. And that is it. Those are the ones that headed in there. So you know that the captain, the first mate, the bosun, the sailmaster, and the master gunner and the medic are all in there. Who's watching over you guys? Well, the bosun's mate, which is a halfling that you've come to learn is named Patches. He is just as bad as Scabs in some measure. He likes to basically lord his power over people as well. So, as you are trying to kind of meander around the deck to look for things, he eventually comes up to you. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
What, me?
Yeah, you. Do you have a job for the night? If not,
I don't.
If not, then get down below decks.
I was seeing if I could, talk to the what's his job role again?
Who?
The sales guy.
Sailmaster?
Sailmaster.
No. Why would you be able to talk to the sailmaster? You're not allowed to talk to the officers.
Is there any particular reason?
Because you're a plebe, that's why. Get below decks.
Go below decks then.
Yeah, you just learned something about the ship, I think. Getting down below, you can see that a couple of the card games have started up again for the night. Anybody want to do anything with that, or are you guys just ready to call it a day?
I'll play the card game, the game of card.
Joining in on one of the games, it's being run by Sabir, the charismatic young gentleman. It has at this point in time, you've learned enough names. There's a woman named Tegwin. She's playing Needy, Neeti. Another woman is also playing, and yet there's one more woman by the name of Freya who's also playing in this game. All of them seem to have congregated to this guy. But you join his game. He certainly allows you in. When you come in, he's like, "What are you anting up?"
I'll do a respectable but not too big of a,
With what?
With what? We don't have anything.
Oh, that's right. They did take money, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
they took your gold for sure.
What do I have to bet then?
He's like, "Oh, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. This first hand, I'll ante for you. It's all good. If you win, you can keep it."
Thank you.
All right. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to roll 3d6s. Roll them separately because those are going to be your first 3 cards.
Ah, dang it. Hold up. I did a space. There we go.
3, 4, and 3. All right. So he deals out the cards, and then he puts in your ante. So in this case, it's like 2 copper. It's not like a lot of money. And all the ladies put in theirs as well, and they get their 3 cards. Do you wish to? You can replace up to 2 cards, meaning you can re-roll 2 dice.
I don't know how this game works.
Well, I mean, it's high.
It's good and what's
highest
bad.
cards. Whoever has the highest
High card
set of
good?
cards.
All right, I'll replace one of those 3s.
All right, so re-roll again. Roll another d6.
Almost did a decent.
All right, so you now have a 6, 4, and a 3. All right, so he gets his cards. So 1, 2, 3.
It's not looking good.
And he replaces one card as well. All right, so when you turn over, you have what? 3, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
3, 6, and 4. You have a better hand than the 3 ladies, but you don't have a better hand than his. So the 6, 5, and 1 is still better than your 6, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Hold on.
Is it?
Like a combo of the numbers or whatever.
No, you actually do win. You have enough.
Hey.
You do actually win.
Nice.
Because the 1 is the replacement. He doesn't have a 6, 5, and a 3. He has a 6, 5, and a 1. So you win. You get a grand total of 8 copper pieces.
Wow. All right, I'll play again.
All right.
I'll do another hand.
All right. So roll 3
I'll do
d6s.
2 copper.
3 individual 3 6s.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to replace any of those? You can replace up to 2.
I'll replace the 1 and the 2.
All right. Roll another 6. Another 1. All right. So
Yeah,
you're 6,
okay.
2, and 4. All right. So he gets 1.
I'm gambling, Mom. Look at me.
2,
I'm winning.
3. 2, 3, and 1. He's replacing 2 of them. I can guarantee you know which ones they are. Well, that didn't help much. So now he is at 3, 5, and 1. And you are what? 6, 2, 4?
Yeah.
All right. So you win a second time.
How much did I win that
In
time?
this case, you only get 6 copper because one
my
of
bad,
the
yeah.
ladies didn't she didn't ante up. So you're
Okay.
now at 14 copper. And
Hey,
Sabir starts looking at you funny, like, I thought you said you've
I'm
never
gonna-
played before.
I'm gonna stop playing. I haven't. Beginner's luck.
I see. Well, give me a chance tomorrow to win it
Aaron.
back.
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
So I have a grand total of
The,
14 copper, right?
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
The appropriate thing would be at least to give him his 2 copper back.
Oh yeah, I do give him his 2 copper back.
Oh,
Okay.
well, he says, oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. I still wish I have a chance tomorrow to win it back.
I will definitely play tomorrow.
All right. So you're at 12 copper then.
Let's go.
All right. Anybody else doing anything?
Well, now I want to get in on the
You
games.
really want to try to play it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, he is unwilling to spot you any.
Hey, Aaron. Mr.
Well, what? I guess I'll
Moneybags.
play one more with my buddy here.
Can you spot
I'll
me
give
for my
you
first
2
round?
copper, and I'll also bet 2 copper.
Remind yourself you're at 8 in case you lose
Yep.
this time. All right.
I'm marking it.
All right, so you guys take the replacement. The ladies all kind of bow out. They're like, enough. All right, so first have Praedyth roll, or not Praedyth, sorry. Aaron roll 3 individual d6s. Actually, you can probably do 3d6 and just press the number.
Okay.
But there you go. So now if you click on
I
that,
got a 3, 4, and 2.
yeah. Iylis, do the same thing. There we go. And he gets his cards. All right.
Hey.
Okay, so at this point in time, you don't know what he has, so that's why I've been trying to do it afterwards. Do you wish to replace any up to 2?
I would like to replace a 2 and a 3.
All right, so roll 2d6 again.
I'd like to replace my 3.
All right, go for it. Roll a d4 or d6. Sorry.
Oops.
All right, so at this point in time, you replaced your 2 and your 3, and you got a 6 and a 3. So you're now at 6, 3, and 4. So you're at 13. He decides to replace his 1. Oof.
Oh my.
And he reveals some cards that are just like, holy cow.
I was like, wait, where'd you get those?
And yeah, you guys definitely both lose on that particular hand. He's like,
Well played on that one, friend.
Seems like your luck has left you. Maybe you shouldn't let your friend play with you.
What did I do? I just drew
Trying
cards.
to take my beginner's luck.
Thank you for playing. Next time, bring that little foxy girl over there.
I'll do my best.
And he's pointing at Dresd'a.
I know.
um,
You're going to be spotting for her, though.
I would spot her first auntie, yes.
As I throw up all over the floor from being seasick.
No, you're no longer seasick. That only lasted for about an hour, and that was from last night. So you're
Yeah,
fine.
but I'm going to say it lasted longer because I'm also recovering from a torn up back.
That's fair. You can if you want. Okay. Maybe tomorrow.
Hey, over the side of the ship. Come on.
You guys get your rum ration, drink a little bit. Marcus sings a little ditty, tells another story. Doesn't play a ditty because he doesn't have his lute. And definitely a few more of the crew seems to be more. Actually, Marcus, give me a performance check. Is there even a performance check in this thing anymore?
I actually don't have performance, but I'll give it to you. I've got a decent charisma.
Yeah. Give me a performance check. We'll see if that changes any minds.
Sure. And I don't have any spells to help, so.
Probably.
Ooh. Well, that was
Showing up. I saw the dice roll. I still don't have an actual number.
You need
Try it again.
5. Hold on. Let me try again.
Yeah, try it again.
Yeah, I need to fix that, but I hear it, but I don't see it on my screen at all.
Yeah, you're not rolling. I mean, it's rolling, but it's not rolling. Roll one more time so I can just see.
Sure.
Actually, just do a.
Quick perception.
No, just do a /R. Yeah.
Okay, /R.
Yeah, /R D20. Just do one. That way I can see what the number is. And all right, so 14 plus what's your, and that one actually worked. So what's your
+2 perform? +2 charisma.
Okay, so by the time you're done with your storytelling and your singing, there's definitely more people now kind of paying attention. You kind of get the feeling that the Galt, Mur, Sefu, Track, Khan, those guys who have been kind of trying to keep you guys down there or were on the island are looking a little more pissed off at you guys. But True definitely has been bobbing along. She seems to be really digging you guys. The gnome, Glinby the gnome, seems to be bobbing her head. She's definitely more interested in what's going on. Sabir, when the game kind of ended, he definitely got engrossed in what was going on with you guys. Pardon?
Can I make a perception? I have sleight of hand. Can I make a perception roll to see what he's doing? Or
well, no,
like
I mean, you can. Yes, you can if you want, but you don't get the feeling he was cheating tonight.
Okay, I just didn't know if because it all of a sudden went different ways. Maybe
the luck of the cards. It literally is the luck of the cards in this case.
Got it.
The young half orc, not Track, the one that doesn't speak, the other one, he seems to have come out of his not really come out of his shell, but he's definitely paying attention to you. And he really wasn't talking very much before. And that halfling with the strange gold amulet definitely seems more intrigued by you guys and does say a couple words to you like, "Hey, nice song. thanks, before he kind of gets in his hammock and heads to sleep. The
Thank
rest
you.
of them are still kind of not really talking to you guys or anything like that.
So, before we go to sleep, I'm gonna go check on our person who lost an arm.
Well, remember,
Yeah.
Rhux healed it over right away. So
Okay, so it's already been healed.
yeah, she's just not feeling. I mean, she went from a broken arm that was slowly healing, feeling better every day, to chopped off arm. So she's getting used to it. But you can go speak with her if you want.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to encourage her.
Yeah, she was the bosun on Maiden's Folly. So
yeah, so she's tough, but
yeah, she's like, you lose you occasionally lose limbs. Talk to Perry. He's had that hook for quite some time. I'll just add a hook at some point. It'll be fine.
that's the attitude to have. I mean,
That, or
I'm just sorry it worked out that way for you.
Yeah. It is what it is. Much I can do about it.
Could anyone use bardic inspiration, perhaps? Maybe someone's playing not playing cards right now, but yeah, I guess there's really nothing I can really do as far as a chore or anything like that. I'll do that tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
I will heal anyone who's somewhat sore. I'll kind of come at, you did a good job day type thing, and use a cure wounds just to, make them feel better. Whoever's the most hurt type thing, exhausted.
Okay. Iylis is really still the one. He got heat stroke. So.
Okay, then I'm just gonna cast it. I'm only doing one.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
I mean, he didn't take any hit points.
Oh no, I know. It's just the fact that
I know.
I'm trying to raise morale. Okay.
All right. So
I'm gonna log out and log back in and see if that helps the rolls, because that roll didn't show up either.
No, it did. Well, I mean, I saw it. It was like 4.
Oh, okay. Just
that's why I wanted you to roll the d20 manually, because then I could just see the number that comes up, and then we can go from there, even if it hadn't shown up. But I saw it was 4. It didn't show up.
Weird.
It's not in the actual chat. It's not showing up.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I see 1 from Marcus.
Yeah, that was the separate d20 I had him roll. It seems like /R's are working for him, but not the other stuff. Night comes, night falls, hammocks get set up. Anybody doing watches again?
I'll take the last one this time, then switch up.
I'll do first again.
Okay.
I'll do second
I'll
again.
do last with Marcus.
Anybody else with Aaron on first? If not, that's okay. I will. All right.
Rhux has not been doing anything.
Rhux has been very quiet. All right. So Aaron, you kind of watch over what's going on. The other card game that was on the other side seems to last well into the night. And in fact, it is still going when you finish your watch and wake up. I don't remember who was on second watch, but when you wake up somebody for second watch, it is still going. There's like 4 people there. It is that needy guy, the old half elf female, Emerave. The really angry guy that was talking to Marcus, whose name is Arl, and the big huge fat bully guy Khan. Those guys are all playing still. Khan seems to be winning more often than not, which is a little odd, because you got the feeling from so far on the ship that he's not exactly the brightest bulb on the planet. But nothing else is going on, so unless you want to do something, that is what's going on.
Nah.
Okay. Who was second watch?
I think it was Iylis was on second.
Yeah, okay. Iylis, during second watch, that card game finally does end. And they kind of head off into into bed. Most specifically after Patches basically yells at them and says, "Get to sleep, you saps. We got to deal with stuff tomorrow." Halfway through your watch, Iylis, you also notice that Sand comes down. He's on night duty. He comes down, gets something out of his footlocker, and then heads back up. And last but not least, you also notice Dresd'a talk in her sleep. She doesn't really say much, but it's hard to hear what she says. It's very clear she's saying something. It's in a language you don't understand. Dresd'a, got something for you. Your memories have been returning in bits and pieces. Initially, it was your birth family, and then your binder family, which you remembered first. Then came your recollection of your mission to Port Hope. Now, as you drift on the waves, swing in your hammock, sleep overtakes you, and you find yourself sitting near a fire. Looking around, you notice the stone temple with its 3 domed spires before you. Sitting across the fire from you is Hylough. She is breathing slowly with her eyes closed. As you watch, a partially translucent being rises from her and stands. The spirit that stands before you stands like a man, but has the head of a snake. You recognize the spirit of Ravahatri, also known as Rafa. Rafa nods at you and then looks down at the meditating Hylough. Looking back at you, she says, "I see you have survived the initial encounter." The Naga spirit slowly circles the fire, staring at you intently. As you attempt to speak, the spirit puts up a hand. "This was but the precursor of what is to come." She circles behind you. "You must become stronger to face that which lies between." Continuing to circle around the fire, her face softens as she gestures at Hylough. "Your friend worries so much about you and the danger you are in." She seems to look far away as she says, "For the danger is great. The entity has tried to force his..." She kind of fades, her voice fades off, and she seems to be lost in thought while she still moves around the fire. Rafa's route finally ends behind Hylough, and she seems to come back to the present. "Seek the eternal eye, and your understanding will grow." Rafa fades back into Hylough, whose eyes then open. A small smile touches her lips as she and the temple of the umbral sodality fade from your view.
What is the eternal eye?
You don't know. You do know, though, that the umbral sodality is the binder society that you're a part of. Like, it's the Brotherhood of Ascetics, but that's just what's called in this world. And you also know that it's sort of a play on words. It's basically shadow companion is the way it works, is what it means. So, you wake up, not with a start, but more kind of come to awake and realize that it's still dark. But now this reminds you that this is actually a way that you and Hylough have actually been able to communicate in the past. She is known for her ability to utilize Rafa as a communication device. Rafa is also sort of a divination spirit. And that you have been able to connect before this way. So more than likely what you just saw was not really a dream, but actually Hylough contacting.
Huh. Is it third watch yet?
It is now third watch.
Well, since I'm up, I'll take third watch.
All right, so you and Marcus take third watch, settle in for third watch.
And I'll talk to Marcus about the quote-unquote dream, which wasn't a dream.
Right.
So, you think it's some type of prophecy? Was it something like what we experienced in the temple?
It's a guidance. It's a real-time communication she's using to help communicate my dreams. So we need to seek this eternal eye, whatever that might be. maybe it'll make sense later, but that's our mission, kind of. We gotta toughen up.
Well, I
Winter
definitely-
is coming.
I think danger's already here, but that's not ominous at all. Great. Sure. We'll have to talk about Rhux or some of the others. See if they know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the eye, right? That's nothing that any of my legend.
You're a bard. You do have the legend. Are you the legend lore version that can
I'm
potentially
not
know
there yet.
one of anything?
It's level 3. Level 2, he gives me the jack of all trades. I'm only level 1.
Okay, so
I have history and religion. Is there anything that would ring a bell with me?
you can try religion if you want. Yeah, I mean, the thing doesn't ring a bell to you. You're not sure if it refers to an actual physical item, a place, a person, you're just not sure. Like, you have a name of something that you need to find. You're not sure where it might be. And you know from previous communications with Iylis that Rafa is very, very oblique, speaks in riddles a lot. What you just heard is probably the most direct of anything he's ever said, or she has ever said to you. Sorry, Rafa is a female. That she has ever said to you. Most of the time, it's completely in riddles and that sort of stuff. But you also get the feeling that Rafa feels that you know what the Eternal Eye is. You got that feeling during the dream. So yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah, a little.
Okay. You guys spend some time through the watch, and again, about the same time, this group here gets up, heads up the stairs. I'm sure that Dresd'a mentioned to you last time what they did. So,
right. So
I mean, and like at least one of them like notices that you two are awake, and just gives you a look and pretty much ignores you as they head up.
That's fine. Trying to think, is there anyone? I have it a long rest at this point?
Yeah, at this point, you guys can do your long rest.
So we could get close to them. I've got a good stealth. I'm trying to think, is there anyone who is more inconspicuous or tends to show up all over the place and ignored?
What do you mean?
Like someone who can pretty much go wherever he wants and is ignored, like a cabin boy type, or
well,
on the ship, is the ship too small that everybody notices everybody?
If you notice them, then they're clearly noticeable.
Well, I mean, yeah, but there are people who you notice them once or twice, but then you just ignore them for the rest of the time because.
I mean, not really. I mean,
okay.
There are some people who you don't see very often because they're typically on bilge duty and that sort of stuff. Luckily for you guys, you haven't gotten bilge duty yet. But maybe those guys might be. The ship is kind of small, so everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah, so changing into somebody else with a spell is probably not going to be great.
Well,
I mean, this guy itself will work, but
it depends on the person. Like, if you were to talk with one of the guys you know, like Sand or Tuber or those guys, they could probably stay out of sight, and you could do it. But they're also known to be compatriots of you guys. So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to get them in trouble too.
Yeah, so it's harder to say that they would. Or that anybody would speak more freely in front of you as one of them anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a place to go and sit out and look at the stars? I mean, obviously the cabin where people have done that before, or
I mean, you can always go sit on the top deck. It's just that, as Iylis learned,
they get mad at you.
Get mad at you about it
for some reason.
Oh. Maybe because this guy doesn't like you, but
I mean, yeah, but I don't like him either.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to stealth up there.
Okay.
Do you want Dresd'a? I can give you if you want to stealth, I can give you a bardic inspiration, and I can kind of provide a distraction if you want to kind of If not, it's
Sure.
okay. I mean, there may not be a good place for you to hide or anything like that. It's just, or actually, what's on the second deck? Is there a place to hide on the deck between the main deck and?
Well, mid deck has some supplies and things like that.
Any crates or anything that would be easy to?
Well, there's some crates and things like that. It also has the cannons on it. That's usually where the master gunner is during the day. So,
Who sleeps there? Is this where the officers sleep?
No, the officers sleep up one more deck. You know that this is where the cook sleeps, and
Oh, he's drunk.
And the quartermaster sleeps there too.
Okay. I think I'm gonna hide there. I'm gonna kind of just Dresd'a, you want to go make out?
What?
Well,
What?
if we need a story, we needed some privacy. You know, but hopefully we won't get caught.
Well, I mean, you get up there and there's nobody there.
Well, I know, but if I'm planning on waiting there until they go back down. I want to stay stealth until the people
Okay.
come down
All right.
down here. But if you don't
okay.
want to, I can just stay up here I mean, I can definitely just sit there and pretend to be, singing in my head or, coming up with a tale.
No, I'll go stealth. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, both of you give me a stealth roll.
And I will give her Bardic Inspiration. Should we give it to you now or wait until? Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, she got Bardic.
How much is that extra if I need it?
I believe it's a D6. Well, you go ahead and roll it because I don't know how that's gonna
D6?
work. How do you want me to do that, Peter?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean the Bardic is I could give it to her when the stealth comes into play type thing. It's only gonna last a short amount of time. Anyway, you know what I'm doing. A D6 is what I roll.
Well,
What do
she
you have?
rolled a 1, so
Okay.
she's at a 14. Roll your stealth.
I am going to do that now. And I can't see what I rolled, so hopefully it's one. Did you see it?
I see dice, but it's not showing up. So roll a d20 directly. Just do an RD20. That was not great.
Okay.
What's your stealth bonus?
He
I'm plus
falls
5.
down the stairs.
I'm plus 5.
You kind of head up the stairs and trip on one of the stairs and kind of up them still. So you definitely make noise as you head up the stairs.
That's fine.
Dresd'a doesn't. So Dresd'a's a bit more quiet.
Well, if she wants to hide over there, I'll just be kind of.
Yeah. So where do you want to hide? I'm gonna move the.
So I will be.
You guys, I'm just gonna move off, and it's just gonna be. Yes, you're off in the water. No, you're not. Where do you two want to be?
So I can be. Like just over here. Within those, I'm not exactly hiding. I'm kind of
Okay.
hiding somewhat, but if I get caught.
So you can hear
I don't.
above you. You can hear some creaking of people moving around, and definitely at a certain point you hear the mumble. You hear the buzz of talking, but you can't quite hear any talking. To be fair, on the deck above you. Let me activate this real quick so you can see it. Oops. Activate this one real quick so you can see it. On the deck above you, there are these openings for where cargo can get dropped in. So you definitely can hear people through those. It just seems that Scabs is not speaking very loudly. But he's definitely talking to those guys up there. If you want to try to get closer by trying to get underneath one of those more directly, you can. And then I'll have you give me a perception roll.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
And then.
So roll a d20 directly, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm.
And add your thing.
That's incredibly annoying, though.
Well,
So where's all my stats? My perception is +3.
okay. So both of you
And I am.
sort of hear him. He seems to be giving some orders for the day. He's like, Mayor, I want you to keep all the swabs busy today. Although by midday we should be making it to our arrival point. So at that point, guys will kind of have the day a bit free. I want you to kind of harass the new guys a little bit after that. Keep them on their toes. They're kind of pathetic. Khan, just look tough. That's about the best you could do. Track. Here in about 15 minutes, I want you to go down and try to prevent people from coming up again. Feeling a need to whip somebody again. Galt.
As soon as I hear that, I want to go back and immediately get everybody up and let them know what's going on so we can get up top.
All right, so you hear that, and then he says Galt, and you leave. That's what.
I'm staying there.
Well, the 12 is what was really getting the most of the voice.
I'm just gonna indicate to him I'm gonna go down and get everybody up as best I can.
That's fine. I mean, yeah.
Right.
You hear him say, Galt, we need to dig up some dirt. So I need you to start looking around a little bit, okay? I think you're headed out with the captain today, but I need to see what's going on. See what's really going on. And Galt says, "Yeah, okay, I got you back." And then you hear some people walking. You hear them walk away from there, and their voices are kind of lost to what's going on. To what he's still speaking, but you kind of lose the sound. It sounds like what it sounds like is they walk away, and you can hear them go up the steps. So they clearly went on to the poop deck.
Okay. So I'm going to position myself away from those areas so it doesn't look like I'm trying to listen in on them.
Okay.
And I'm just going to, I don't have a lute, but I'm going to compose a song, or at least that's what they're going to see me doing when they come down.
So Dresd'a, you go down and wake up other people.
Okay. Hurry up, guys. We got to get upstairs now. They're sending them down in another 5 minutes to come harass us so we can get whipped again for being late.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hurry up.
Let's get up.
Go.
All right, you guys get up. Start heading up the stairs.
I'm gonna hustle upstairs.
All right. You guys head upstairs.
The stairs we go.
You guys get up the stairs and start heading up the next set when that's when Track kind of is coming down the stairs. So he kind of is walking down the stairs, taking the whole thing up, and then he kind of is like, He doesn't make any noise though. He kind of just
wave.
He has a perplexing look on his face. You can give him a wave, but how are you going to get past him?
Is he walking those stairs now?
Yeah, he's on this set of stairs here.
So tell him he's blocking the wrong set of stairs. He's supposed to block the ones downstairs.
Yeah, he's not that dumb. Just because he doesn't speak doesn't mean he's stupid.
Persuasion roll?
It would really be a deception roll, not a persuasion roll.
Is the rest of the crew still below deck, or is it just us?
I mean, I'm sure some of them heard Dresd'a waking the rest of you up. It's almost that time. It's just about the time for them to start getting up and doing the stuff.
Okay. I mean, did he say specifically us, or was he just saying whip someone in general?
He wanted Track to get down there and to block some stairs so that he could do some whipping. Doesn't mean it was you guys. He just
so he just wants to abuse people.
That is what he said.
So there you go. You got to be downstairs. There's other people downstairs you got to block.
You got to give me a deception roll, Dresd'a. Track does not take orders from Dresd'a. That's probably the best way to put it. Yeah, he still doesn't take orders from Dresd'a. He kind of, as he walks past, he just pushes you to the side, and continues on down the stairs.
Whew.
I'll lead the charge upstairs.
You guys get up on deck and get yourselves into lines. And about 10 minutes later, the bell goes off. And about half a dozen more of the people get up the stairs. The bell goes off again, and you notice that there are 4 people who are currently not on deck. They are True, Sabir.
I can't say that.
Yeah, you're not down there. Sabir, Freya, and Tegwin. And shortly thereafter, they make it to the deck. And Scabs looks a little disappointed as he kind of glares daggers at you guys. But he does his lashings with gusto, and those 4 all get their 2 lashings. And then he doles out jobs again for the day. For the most part, you guys get a job of some sort. The only difference today is Iylis, you're put back with the cook. And Dresd'a, you got bilge.
Let's go.
I get what?
Bilge duty.
Oh,
He really likes you.
That's a stinking job.
Yeah. So you guys start doing your stuff. Dresd'a, bilge duty is a thankless, nasty job. You're down there with you're actually down there with a girl named River. And basically you're manning the pumps down there to pump out any water that comes into the bilge. And the bilge is pretty nasty in the sense that this is kind of also where some of the human waste comes and all that sort of stuff. It's not a great place to be. But let me give you an actual description of the bilge, because I do have one. It is, excuse me, the lowest deck of the ship. The bilges are a foul, damp place with thick cobwebs above and 1 to 2 feet of dark, brackish water that stinks abominably. A ladder leads up to the trapdoor that opens in the lower hold, and a single bilge pump rests near the stern. You also notice along the side that there are some manacles that are fixed to the bulkheads. So clearly at some point this is used potentially maybe as a brig or a jail of some sort. And basically the point of the day is keep the bilge from, overflowing and cleaning it out. That's that.
So
Go ahead.
I want to find True at some point and stealthily heal her. Say, I'm sorry that everything happened to you. It just seems like he's out for everybody today. But
so it takes you a while. But you don't really find a good time to do it until about noon. Now, the reason why you find it a good time to do it at noon is that, I should say, about an hour beforehand, you hear from the crow's nest, land ho. And most of the crew take the time to go look over the side and things like that. But it takes you about 15 minutes before you start seeing it. And then about an hour later is you guys are near a small island. You kind of close in on a small island with a decent sized small bay that the ship kind of settles into and drops anchor. You don't see any kind of civilization on this island. The island, you're guessing, is maybe a mile in from one side to the other from the direction you're coming in. There's a very small kind of mountain on it, a little bit of jungle, not a lot, but that's pretty much kind of what it is. At that point, Scabs basically says, "All right, you're on your own for the rest of the day, except for you, and you." And he points at Aaron, Hylough, and Rhux. He says, "Go down and get your friend, the cook's mate. You guys are going crabbing."
I'll go get Iylis.
What fun!
Iylis, you've been for this part of the morning. You came in, and sure enough, Lub is still drunk, but he's awake this time when you come in, and he's like, "Oh, hey, it's you again. Great! I requested you this time. I remembered your name. It was Praedyth, right?" And then I described you. And Scabs just shook his head or something. I don't remember. It was a little weird. And now you're mute.
Or
Uh,
is he available?
The alcohol breath knocked him out.
I guess so. Robert is
Fumes.
currently
Oh,
gone.
sorry. I'm back.
Okay. Wasn't sure if you were around or gone.
Hi.
Yeah, Lub has been talking to you.
Oh, what's he been? Oh, hey, love. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy looking at the spices.
you were
What'd you
drunk.
say again?
Oh, nothing. It's all right. We're gonna make a special dinner tonight because the captain has to go somewhere tomorrow, and so he wants a special dinner. So I've requested that we get some crabs. So at some point,
Okay.
Scabs is gonna send some people down, and you guys are gonna go
Wait a
get
minute.
crabs.
Isn't that how the last guy died?
Yeah. Wow, I'm surprised you remembered that. I'll try to make sure you get a crab trap, but I can't guarantee it.
I'm not going down to grab the crabs off the floor of the ocean.
Well, you better come back with at least a dozen crabs. Otherwise, you might be keel hauled.
At least a dozen.
Like a dozen. Anyway, that's all right.
We
got time.
I'll see.
So
what
let's
I can
talk
do.
about spices for the crabs, and you guys start talking about that.
I recommend Old Bay.
About halfway through the morning, swarthy guy comes out of that room from the side, walks over to the one door, puts a key in it, and it goes to unlock it, and then you kind of look, you see a puzzled look on his face, and he just shakes his head, opens the door, walks in, comes back out a few minutes later with a foot locker, closes the door, locks it, and then heads out into the main hall, out the other door, and that's all you see of him until about midday when the ship seems to stop, and suddenly Hylough, Rhux, and Aaron come down and say, "Hey, we're here to help you catch crabs." And you guys get a small.
Brother on town?
Yes, I know you were going. You guys get a small little boat that you get dropped into the sea, and you go try to find crabs.
Very cool.
While those guys are out doing that, you guys see the other dinghy, which is a little bit larger one. So there's like a small one that seems to be about a 3-man boat that currently 4 people are in, and another one which is the 6-man boat, which you guys were brought over on. That one, Red and a couple sailors get in and they head towards the island.
Fun.
All right, so you guys that are trying to get crabs, give me a survival check.
Everyone?
Well, can Rhux have advantage because he can swim really good?
If more than one of you are going to roll, you can just roll once and have advantage.
I'm just good at it.
Well, we'll take Hylough's or Iylis's because his is better.
I'm just trained in survival.
So am I, but that doesn't mean.
What are you doing, Hylough?
Wait, so am I. Wait.
Wait, so am I. Wait, so am I.
What did I get?
Not a great one either. All right, so
best
you guys spend
galaxy.
the next couple of hours crabbing, and you are able to get the dozen or so crabs. In fact, you're able to get a score of crabs before you bring them back.
Score?
A score.
Yeah.
Full score.
An entire
and a set of crabs.
score?
Marcus and Dresd'a and Praedyth, what are you guys doing?
So I am going to heal True.
All right.
I'll go ahead and mark that down.
While you're kind of doing that, you notice that most of the officers, in fact, all of the officers, head into the main captain's cabin. And leave Scabs out to run the ship. So Scabs, Red is off on the island. The rest of the officers are in the thing. Scabs is currently running the ship.
Throw him over. Kill him.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of his way. I think that's probably the best plan on that particular time.
Yeah.
I will go underneath again and check the guns and kind of talk to the gunner, because, I mean, gunner to gunner, how it's different from shooting crossbows, but I'm also trying to listen in underneath again to see
All right,
if
so
I can hear anything.
you head below. Heading down below, the Master Gunner is down there. Again, she is an Alec by the name of Rua. She is currently talking to a swarthy man who's sitting there next to a footlocker. And you hear her basically like, "Hey, I really would like a bit more of the black powder. I need it for the stuff. You know the captain would want me to have it. Actually, I'm so sorry. The Master Gunner wouldn't be down there because the Master Gunner is up in the officers with the rest of the officers. The Master Gunner's mate is down there, and that would be the Ave, the raven like Ave.
Okay.
And he says he's basically asking for gunpowder. The quartermaster just gives him a stare and kind of looks at you as you come in, gives you a slight nod, and then says to the Aves, like, "If you have something to barter with, I will give you some more. If the captain orders me to give you some more, I will give you some more. Don't come to me with this cockamamie story about you needing something." And the Ave says, "Well, Scabs is going to hear about this," and stalks off.
Okay. Not at the quartermaster. I just start examining the guns and.
Well, I mean, it's just cannons down here. So.
No, I know, but I'm making a deal of looking at them and kind of citing them and.
Okay.
I'm not gonna talk to him unless he brings up a conversation type thing.
He's currently not.
Okay.
You can try a perception check, but I mean they're in the quarters. There's not really anyone.
Oh, I know. It's going to be very, very hard to do. Yeah. I get that. That's not the only reason I'm there, but
yeah. But you said you were going to try to listen in, so give me the perception check first.
And my perception, I mean, again, I can't see what I roll, so
10.
I don't know if it matters. +3.
All right, so you don't necessarily hear any conversation of any sort inside of the cabin, but you do notice that the footlocker is open. That Hamadi, that the quartermaster's sitting near, and you do notice in there the telltale sign of one of those black hand axes.
Okay. I will. Does the quartermaster? What does he seem like? He seems like just
he's a swarthy fellow. He kind of looks like he.
Everything's for sale.
Yeah, you're not sure.
The right price type.
Maybe. I mean, he hasn't spoken to you. You overheard his conversation with the Ave. Certainly seems to be kind of no nonsense, very much, that sort of stuff. But you're not sure.
Okay. I apologize for not meeting you sooner. I am Marcus, new on the vessel. Pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
See. Pleasantries don't work so much with me, but my name is Hamati.
Well, at the moment, I don't have as much else to offer you, but I will. I understand, things that we need, we can get. That's again new to the ship, but I do notice that people have things. And it's been mentioned perhaps that there are people who can get things and get our belongings, just for sentimental value things. Yeah, I understand, but
everything that is in my office belongs to the captain. Now, the captain is more than willing to allow things to be bought and sold, as long as he can make some money off of it. So if your things are in my office, they are the captain's. But if you wish to try to buy them back, the door is open.
Very fair. And as we, hopefully we'll find a new vessel or some opportunities to make more money here. Swabbing decks doesn't pay well. Kind of smile at him. But
currently, yes, you're correct. But once we do our next attack, you will have stuff. You will get your cat.
Well, I'm not only a storyteller, I specialize in weapons at range, and these are very impressive. I was hoping to see the gunner's mate down here, but he's not here. But
oh, you just
I will just stay here and compose.
He is the one who is requiring that I give him something that I do not have orders to.
Without orders, you can give him nothing. Why does he not understand?
He believes in testing my patience. Rum?
Well,
he offers you rum.
Thank you. Yes.
And he takes a swig out of the bottle and hands it to you.
I'll take a swig out of it. Any constitution roll?
Nope, not yet. Not yet. If you drink about 5 more, maybe.
Okay. This is a different life from the one I knew.
I see.
Not a worse life, I think.
And what was your life beforehand?
I was a trader. Trade goods. My family.
I thought you said a trader as like you're trading.
No, I know.
You were a trader.
I knew how I phrased it. I'm trying to, sell goods and move merchants. My family has some background in that, but I wanted to come to sea and hopefully make contacts for my family.
I see.
Later on.
Well, you are currently on one of the best pirate vessels in the Sea of Tears. I don't know if that will get much trading to your family.
Well, my family is understanding of where things come from. That is not an issue at all.
Good.
I mean, the world is not black and white by far, and you always need friends.
That is for true.
He
takes another swig of the rum and offers you another one.
I'll take another swig. The island we stopped at, that we wrecked on.
You were wrecked on an island, were you?
Yes, the one that we unfortunately had to.
You are one of those that they brought aboard. I see.
Yes, but
the captain does not like you very much at all.
Who does not like me?
The captain does not like you very much at all. You seem to have used some of the things he needed.
And we regret that. And we'll prove our worth.
Oh, you have very much.
I mean, there is no use without payment.
This is
true. They're interesting. Does the captain know the creatures on the island? The bird creatures? They seem to be willing to trade. We've made some contact with them, and
I do not know if the captain knows about the creatures on the island. He probably does not care.
Well, there's always money to be made. So
possibly.
If we ever go back that way, perhaps we can make some introductions.
Perhaps.
But I've neglected my duties enough. Thank you for the rum.
Consider that a freebie.
There aren't many of these in life, and I do value them. And I'll go back upstairs.
Okay, head back upstairs.
Because John doesn't know what else to say.
No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Well, I mean, he's not a very talkative person, so I get that.
He's not, but
yeah, I had some avenue. I'm not going to throw it all at once.
All right, so you guys get your crabs. You get back about mid-afternoon. About an hour after you guys get back with the crabs, the other rowboat comes back, and you see that as they kind of pull up a couple of barrels, you can see that one of the barrels is clearly fresh water, and the other one seems to be some kind of fruit that they got off the island. So Iylis, you're in kind of starting to set up the stuff to start dealing with the crabs when they bring in this barrel of fruit and another barrel of water. And then Red heads off, and then they head off. The fruit is some kind of like yellowish fruit that's kind of it's a like you almost kind of want to call it a pear or like a peach, but it's more like a small melon. So it's a yellow fruit that's maybe about the size of a softball, size of a grapefruit, but inside is more melon than it is like citrus. And Lub is just like, oh, let's use that. We can use some of that and put it with the crab, and yeah, that'll totally work. And then put some spice and stuff on it. It'll be fine. You get to it. I gotta take a nap.
I'll get to it then.
All right. Over the course of the next half an hour, you start, boiling the things, getting the crabs going in. Swarthy guy comes in, brings that footlocker in, goes, puts it back into the thing, comes back out. He's a little bit, again, weaving a little bit as he kind of walks. Seems to be struggling a little bit with the footlocker. And you see him close the door, and then he heads back out into the main chamber.
Got it.
Lub is behind you, kind of sawing logs. Jeez, Mama, jeez. What are you doing? What is anybody doing?
Continuing to cook the food.
Okay.
Get them crabs in there.
Okay.
I want to try to climb the mast and look at the island.
You're gonna
get a better view of it.
You're gonna climb up the rigging a bit and kind of look at the island.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the island is maybe about a mile one way. There's kind of a small mountain. You think maybe it's 750, maybe 1,000 feet tall on the most. So you're not sure how wide the island is because you can't really see past it. But if you had to guess, maybe it's about a mile, maybe half a mile that way. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It's hard to tell. However, at this point, I will give you a survival check.
And my survival is...
Yeah, that's pretty good. You got a 19 plus whatever it is.
Survival.
All right, so based on what you're seeing in front of you, you start looking around a little bit more. You looking there. You can see that off to, at this point in time, you're kind of sure of what's going on. So you guys are on the south side of this island. Further to the east from here, you can see another set of like 2 or 3 small islands that are I don't know. You guess maybe 10 miles away. It's hard to tell. They may be a little bit larger than this particular island. You can also see that the sea, as you kind of look down from here, is maybe 20 feet, 30 feet deep at the most. You can see some reefs and stuff around this island and heading off into the thing. Based on everything you're seeing in here and all that sort of stuff, you think that maybe you are on the western side of the Gallenveer Cays. So let's
Interesting. Let's
back to the map. Back to the Sea of Tears map. The Gallenveer Cays are right here.
And we were going to Port Hope.
Well, you came from Regale to Wensmar to Port Hope, and we're headed to Calastriel. You had come around the edge, and we're sailing this way.
So now we're coming back.
Yep. So wherever you guys were, you have come back around, but you didn't go through here because remember that's where the pirate kind of went after you the last time. You probably came all the way down south and are now here.
Okay.
And you made pretty good time. Remember, from Port Hope to where you went, where you guys got crashed, it was a good 2 days. It took you only 3 days to get here.
Helps when you have a wizard who uses wind.
Well, you're also going with the wind, westerlies and all that, so that helped as well.
Does it seem like the reefs have? Can I tell if this is like more of a pirate hideout, another pirate meeting place?
No. You know that the Gallenveer Cays are a protectorate of Caer Miguel.
Okay.
So yeah, this is definitely not. This was not. In fact, you're actually once you realize where you're at, you're like, the hell are pirates doing here? This seems odd because this should be pretty well traveled by the Mergale Navy.
Unless they're out trying to catch the pirates. Huh.
Oh, maybe.
Or they made a deal with them.
Give you. There's one more thing, one more piece of information. I just have to bring up a different map. All right, so Galanvir Cay is a group of small islands claimed by the Mergale League. Most of these islands are uninhabited, but the area is full of reefs and fish, and so a lot of the fishing for Caer Mergale is done around this particular area. It is from your time in Caer Mergale before you started on this whole thing. You knew that Mergale Navy ships patrol the area to support the fishermen. The largest cay, called Galanvir, is home to a town called Port Gallon, and it is large enough to have several fruit and sugar plantations, but not super huge. Like, it's large, but not super huge. Like, basically the spot here, right here, this big island here, is Galanvir Island.
Okay.
Galanvir Cay. You guys are probably like this map doesn't show everything. There's a whole bunch of small islands and sandbars and all that sort of stuff around this whole thing. So you guys are probably somewhere around in here.
Are there vessels that go out from this island?
Oh yeah, I mean you're not currently seeing any, but because
I know. I'm
you're
just
to the southwest.
keeping that the back of my mind that there is.
I mean Port
that...
Gallon is probably is going to be right here on the island itself. So you guys are further southwest from that.
And they did say they were running from the Navy, right? That was.
Well, you keep on hearing. You've heard for a couple times now that they had attacked a ship, had boarded it, had gotten some of the stuff off, but then a naval vessel surprised them while they were still doing that and attacked them. Several of their members died. Several sailors died, probably about a dozen or so from what you've gathered so far, but they got away.
Okay.
And that seemed to have happened about maybe a week or two ago. That's the best you've got at this point.
And the Gunsmate did talk about a haul soon after the meeting, so.
Well, the quartermaster said, hey, expect that we will probably be doing something again in the next couple of days, or next few days. Week at the most.
What was the quartermaster's name?
Amadi.
Okay. Okay, that's what I want to look for.
All right.
Also, I wouldn't mind if the officers are coming back, kind of see. Well, I'm sure they're back on the boat by now, so I'll come back down.
Okay. You come back down. As of right now, you still just see Scabs kind of doing everything. Kind of running the ship still. It's a skeleton crew because, again, you guys aren't moving anywhere. Your anchor has been dropped. You're just sitting here waiting for whatever. You're not even sure what. Clearly, the Red went and got some supplies. Clearly, some of your compatriots went and got crabs. At this point, what do you guys want to do? You don't have to do a job mostly because you're just sitting here. You're not actually actively sailing.
Okay, done. I've used a lot of it already. Y'all do something.
Iylis, at a certain point, mid to late afternoon, that same girl shows up again, and she looks and it's like, well, at least Lub figured out who the right one is to have. The little man, the little strange little man. His food was at best.
I want to ask her how she got on the ship.
She just looks at you funny or with a bemused expression on her face. She says, "You must be new."
Exactly. That's why I'm asking.
You'll find out soon enough.
I hate this.
That doesn't sound good.
And she says, "Is the food ready for the captain and his officers?"
Oh yeah, I made the best crabs. I used all of the Old Bay. It's incredible.
I see. She says, "I'm not going to feel good tonight. I see." She takes the food and she heads out the door and heads up. Give me an insight check, Iylis.
Ta-da. Oh. Ah.
She when you said the Old Bay and all that sort of stuff, you saw her visibly kind of her eyes kind of like crestfallen a little bit, and you get the feeling that maybe she's unhappy you used Old Bay.
That's kind of what I gathered from the way she said that she wouldn't feel good tonight after I used a bunch of Old Bay.
But with a 22, I'll give you one more piece of information.
Cool.
Having seen her get the food every single time, you think she's maybe tasting it.
Aha. Oh, that would make a lot more sense.
Now your insight really kicked in. That was Robert's insight kicking in.
That was Robert's insight going, aha.
Uh-huh.
That's quite unfortunate. I don't like that.
There you go. At this point in time, Lub hasn't woken up. You still have plenty of crab left, but not enough to give everybody in the crew one. So what do you want to do for food?
I want to make like crab stew.
Okay. So you basically
like
take the rest of it and
soup.
turn it into a crab stew or a crab soup.
Make it nice and creamy,
right, cool.
Yeah.
You take
like
that up to deck without him. Lub is totally out for some reason. Feed the rest of the crew. Everybody gets their food. Scabs comes on down, sets up the evening shift, where again he puts in let's see here. Myrrh, Arl, Sand, Needy, and Drogo are the 5 that he's putting on night duty. And Freya. Sorry, there's 6 people. I'm so sorry. And what do you guys do for the rest of the evening? It's been a pretty decent day. Typical springish. Sowing Tide is a spring month day here on the Sea of Tears. There's an island next door. However, I don't think you want to be left behind on this island. It's a bit smaller.
I get Dresd'a and Iylis and go to the card game.
Oh, you guys go do the card game?
I said I was going to go back, and I was going to bring Dresd'a.
It's not really Sabak, but you know what I mean. All right.
You said Sabak.
I know that last time. That's because that was the first card game that popped into my head. All right. So you head to this card game. Sabir is there. This time he's waiting for you 3. He's like, my good friends. Ready for some more card games?
Sure.
Yes.
All right, ante up. 2 copper.
You're poking for her.
I'm gonna observe and watch for cheating.
Okay.
For this game.
All right.
I'll get
Aaron.
Iylis. You get Dresd'a.
Thanks.
You specifically asked for her. You get to pony up.
All right. I did. 2 copper is a small price to pay for such a beauty at my table.
Small price to pay for salvation.
Crate, I should say. All right, so he deals you in. Everybody who's playing, 3d6.
3d6.
Ooh, I like those rolls. Oh, hold on. Let me put me down to 4 copper real quick. Okay.
All right, you can replace 2 of those d6s if you wish.
I'm not going to replace anything.
I'm gonna replace the 1 and the 2.
Okay, roll 2
Can I
d6
replace one and then decide if I want to replace
nope,
another?
You gotta replace them both at the same time.
Okay. All right, I'm replacing one.
Yay. 6, 5, 3.
Okay. You're replacing 1. Go for it.
1,
Ooh,
3.
Nice. All right. So we've got Iylis with a 653. We've got Dresd'a with a 653. We've got Aaron with a 454. All right, we got the dealer with 6 and 2 1s, who takes two others to get rid of the ones. All right, so wow, this is gonna be interesting.
We have a 3-way tie.
All right, so what comes up is a 3-way push, a 3-way tie. So there's 8 copper currently in the pot. So the 3 of you that are all have the same, and will share the pot. So you each get back your ante, and 1 other copper piece.
Cool.
Oh, yay.
So I have 3 now.
You have 3. Of course, technically 2 were Aaron's.
Yeah, shh, don't tell him.
All right, so you guys play the card game for the next hour or so. I'm gonna do the following. Each one of you roll a d6.
Oh.
All right, so Dresd'a and Aaron, you both win a couple of times, so you guys get 4 copper each. Iylis, you basically never win enough. You basically come away with no money. And
Back where I started.
Sabir wins once out of those games over the next hour.
I recuperated my losses.
Yep. All right. Anybody else doing anything?
Do I need to roll any sort of insight or anything like that? With my...
Yeah, you can do a perception roll.
Yeah.
You here's what you notice. You notice that there's a couple times it seems like his hands do something weird, but every time he does that, every time he starts, like, his hand starts to do a strange motion, and then you notice him look at you, and then the motion kind of stops.
Oh, it looks like a fair game to me.
Yeah.
Other than the weird, like a weird something other.
I would also say Hylough. It's about, I don't know, most of the way through the game when you realize that you've seen this guy before.
Hey, I've seen you somewhere before.
You're pretty sure that he you've seen him before.
I know you from somewhere.
In the taverns on the docks of Kermagale.
Yeah.
And the reason why suddenly it kind of hits you is because you remember seeing a guy similar to this gambling in the taverns, and some of the mannerisms that he was just doing are what tipped you off.
Is there any reason why he would want to not? I mean,
that doesn't mean he knows who you are. I'm just saying you recognize him.
Okay. All right.
Give me a quick history roll.
The history?
Intelligence roll. All right, that's good enough. You remember him being part of the crew on a ship called the Veiled Mist. You don't remember too much about the ship per se, just that you're pretty sure he was part of that crew. And that may have been like a couple months back. Like you had just started working on the docks when this guy was kind of around.
Well, if the game ends and he's over, I might, kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
battle up to
about
him
3/4 of the way through the game is when you realize this. So the game kind of ends after that hour. Everybody else kind of starts to bid their adieus for the night. Yeah, you can approach him at that point.
Yeah, I'll just sort of whisper, weren't you on the crew of the Veiled Mist?
He kind of looks at you for a second. He's like, yes, I was. How did you know that?
I was working the docks in Kermagale, and I remember seeing you in the tavern.
Oh, that's true. I used to go. Yes, I'd been there several times. Yes, yes, that's true.
So how did you come to be here?
I sort of well, kind of had a falling out with the captain on the Mist, and so I left their employ and found my way to here.
Okay, so you volunteered for this. You weren't captured or anything like that.
They were looking for sailors, and yes, I joined the crew.
Okay, well, that's interesting.
So I'm going to give you a freebie, Chad, but in the
Okay.
future you need to choose to do this yourself. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Yeah.
He's certainly not telling you the whole truth.
Well, that's kind of what I thought.
Well, it's certainly true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, not that he's lying, but he's leaving stuff out, right?
Yes, he's definitely leaving some stuff out for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do from this point.
I mean, it's up to you what you want to do. You have determined that his story is not an outright lie, but there's definitely more to it.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah, you get that out of him, and then he kind of's like, well, it's good to see a fellow McGalen here. We'll talk more later. I wish to go speak some more with that charming young lass. And he heads over towards Dresd'a.
Hey, what's up, yo?
Dresd'a, he basically starts chatting you up and basically trying to flirt with you a bit. Depends on how you want to react to it.
Just kind of listen to what he's got to say.
He seems to be enamored by your golden skin and that sort of stuff. He finds you intriguing.
So how do you earn extra money on the ship?
Oh, well, I mean, you haven't been part of a raid yet. Once you get part of a raid, then you'll get a share of the treasury.
But is there any way to earn more than your share?
Well,
little side jobs or something?
And he kind of comes back and he's like, he points at a girl. He points at one of the women over there. He says, find her. Points at this one. He says, well, if you wish to, you could be like her. She charges a small fee. And she charges a small fee and provides a service of a sort.
She teach you how to fight?
That's one way of talking about it. Certainly gets your sword out.
Oh, how can I get a sword?
Oh, I mean, I guess if you were reincarnated or polymorphed, it might get you a sword, but... Oh, you mean an actual sword. I'm talking about something else. I'm speaking of something else. She's a harlot.
Oh, what?
A whore.
You know, because I've never been off the island before.
She sells herself for sex.
Oh my goodness. No. I meant like a real job.
All the real jobs are what you are already doing.
Can you do extra to earn more money to get your stuff back? Without being a harlot?
Oh, I mean, that's part of why we gamble here and there, and part of why we, are here for the money and that sort of stuff. I mean, you can save up your share of the treasure, but until we do a raid, you aren't going to get your share. I mean, there's nothing else you can do.
Oh, okay.
but hopefully this current stop will lead us towards the next raid.
What's the current stop?
I mean, I don't know why we're stopped here, but I mean, clearly something's going on.
Do you know anything about the next raid?
Not really. I just know that this is the longest we've been between raids, but probably because of being attacked by that ship, the naval ship.
Oh.
If I know the captain, Mad Dog will have us out trying to track down a merchant vessel within the next several days. Things have been pretty good over the last month, actually. So we've been hitting the merchants at least a couple times a week. It's just after this last one that we seem to have slowed down.
Cool. Okay, that's all I got. I was just trying to find a way to maybe earn extra money to get my stuff
no,
back.
that's all good. So he chats with you for a bit longer, just trying to get more about where you're from and stuff like that, and then then he heads off to his hammock. Rhux, Praedyth, Aaron, you guys want to do anything before the night?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Can't think of anything.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Are we allowed to like sneak into the captain's cabin to try to steal our stuff
You can
back?
do whatever the hell you want. I'm not stopping you from anything.
We were warned about stealing and getting caught
Just as long as you don't get caught, you're fine.
and death and things like that. But if you have the thing in your hand, it's almost like getting caught, you know.
That
Yeah,
depends.
I definitely don't feel brave enough to do that.
Okay. Night comes. Hammocks are gotten into. I'm not going to have you do watches. That's
Okay.
Nothing's really happening, and you can avoid any potential stuff at this point. So you guys head to sleep, and Sowing Tide the 17th arrives. Excuse me, the 18th arrives. You can do a long rest, although you don't really need one if you haven't been casting anything, but you can do a long rest. You head up.
Watches just.
I literally
Just
just
in
said don't have to worry about watches because at this point in time
sorry.
you've shown that you can get around the things. You guys arrive on the deck in the morning, get into line, and Scabs. You see Scabs and Red speaking to each other, and sort of like they're talking to each other they're up on top of Hero, top of the helm. They're speaking to each other as they kind of look over the line. And then Red steps forward and she says, "So, have any of you seen Drogo?"
Who?
Drogo.
Who?
Drogo, the halfling. The halfling with the strange triple triangle, interlocking triangle necklace.
No.
Haven't seen him recently. Not
No.
today.
Did we?
Did we see him coming up? Get
No,
up?
you haven't seen him when you got up. Last time
was
you
it-
guys saw him was last night when he was picked to do night duty.
Oh, no.
He was on night duty, right?
Last I saw him last night.
Everybody's kind of looking around. You hear a small kind of, and then one person says, he was on night duty, wasn't he?" And Red then turns to Scabs a bit, and they talk for a bit. And it's like, and you see Scabs say, "Merc, go check his bunk, just in case maybe he went to bed early." And you see Mer, the girl, run off. The redheaded lady run down. After about a couple of minutes, it doesn't take long to get down to the bottom of the ship and back up. She comes back up and shakes her head. All right, everybody. And Red's like, All right, everyone stay in line. We will do a quick search and see if we can find him on the ship. And so a search is started. After maybe the 10-15 minutes, because like 4 or 5 people are doing the search, everybody comes up and is like, nope. At that point, what are your guys' passive perceptions?
11.
13 for Aaron. 10 for Dresd'a. Hylough is 10. Iylis is 11, as he just said. Marcus. 13. Praedyth. 12. Rhux. 13. So Rhux, Marcus, and Aaron, right? All of you with the 13. You guys have been standing there kind of bored, kind of just waiting for this to be over with to get your job for the day. When you kind of all kind of notice that, so it's hard to see on this map because I typically have somebody on top of it, but there is a box right here. And that box normally is just closed, but you notice this time that it's closed and there seems to be a lock on it.
Does anyone else notice the box is red?
Pardon?
Does Red walk right past it, or does it seem to be?
Yeah, she walks past it. You don't honestly, you don't know what this box is for. No one's ever mentioned anything about it.
But that's the first time we've seen it. It's not there normally.
No, the box has always been there. The box has always been there. It's just
now it's got a lock on it.
But it normally it just hasn't had a lock on it in the past. Now it seems to have one on it.
I guess when Red comes sort of past me, I'll mention it.
Well, Red's kind of up here. Scabs has kind of come down, and at this point, most everybody that they sent out searching has come back and is like, nope. So you can mention it if you wish.
Yeah, I raise my hand.
You raise your hand. Red's like,
I'll point it out.
Yes, you. What do you wish to say?
I've noticed a couple of times that the box there is typically closed, but there seems to be a lock on it today. Would that have any sort of correlation?
Scabs, is anyone in the sweatbox? Scab's like, no, there hasn't been a need for punishment lately. Everybody is currently properly complying. As he kind of looks at everybody in the deck, like, Would you check the box, please? And Scab comes down and he pulls out a key. He clearly has a key to this box, and unlocks the lock and things up and flips it open. And he looks inside and he says, "Red, we have found our missing man." And from here, you can kind of see that there is the halfling is inside of it, but you don't see any movement. And clearly, no one was banging on the trim.
Whoa!
Please call the captain. It looks like we have a death amongst the crew. And we'll stop there for the evening.
Whoa!
Sounds like a murder to me.
A murder. I blame Lub.
I don't know.
It was the butler.
I blame a setup that's coming down the rain.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
If not the butler, then the butler's butler.
Have we left the island yet?
No, you're still at anchor in the cove at the island.
Okay.
And we'll pick this up again next time with what you have already surmised correctly is a murder on the ship.
Must have been a murder.